Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much. I gotta turn this off. My Zoom is telling me it's starting. Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here and so happy that you could join us tonight. Um, my name is Paula Samuel, and I want to welcome you to our Fear to Fulfillment Masterclass. I want to start by congratulating all of you for making the time to invest in yourselves by joining us tonight on this masterclass. Let's start off with a few questions that I want you to start thinking of and sort of thinking. You can, if you have a pen and paper, have a pen and paper handy because I'm going to ask a lot of questions throughout the masterclass. And if not, then you can put it on your phone, on your notes, whatever it is. But just get used to just the thought that we're going to be asking a whole bunch of questions, and hopefully, if you're comfortable sharing it in the chat. So my first question to you is, think of a time when you felt like there was something holding you back, preventing you from reaching your true potential. Think of that time, write it down, and if you're ready to share it in the chat, share it in the chat. And I'm just going to take 2 quick minutes because I cannot see the chat all of a sudden. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Okay, question number 2. In what parts of your life do you crave a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose, but feel stuck or unsure of where to start? When I went to the Peace Corps. Oh, wow. Thanks, Doreen, for sharing that. Peace Corps, that's pretty powerful. In what parts of your life do you crave a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose, but feel stuck or unsure of where to start? Think about it, write it down. Think, and if you don't have anything to write on, just sort of start pondering it.
This is fun.
That's a good one.
These are great questions.
And then the final question is, are you ready to unleash your hidden talents and embrace a mindset that empowers you to thrive in both your personal and professional life? Yes or no? That's a simple one. Are you ready? Well, I'm here to tell you that all of that is possible. When we change our mindset, things start to change. And that's not just me talking. This is based in the latest neuroscience and neuroplasticity. Our brains can and do rewire. Our job is to be mindful and intentional of what we feed our minds. So let's dive in. My background is in broadcast journalism. I have more than 2 decades of experience as an anchor, morning show host, and reporter before I shifted into mindset coaching and public speaking. Let me take you back to a time when I poured my heart and soul into my work, striving to be hired as the main morning show host at the network I was working at. Now, I knew that I was the best candidate for the job, as did most of my colleagues. Yet time and time again, over a period of more than 6 years, I was passed over for the main gig, often being the one who trained the new anchor to take over my spot. And every single time, I was left frustrated, disappointed, and crushed. As a morning show host, I faced a barrage of challenges, both on and off the air. But perhaps the greatest challenge of all was the battle against my own limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. Who do I think I am to be the main anchor of the show? I'm not smart enough, not creative enough, not talented enough. I don't have enough experience. I have too much experience. These thoughts consumed my mind, manifesting aggravation, negative self-talk, and a persistent feeling of, why even bother? I found myself playing small, trapped in a cycle of fear and resistance that seemed impossible to break. But the good news is, at that point in my career, when I'd been passed over for like the 5th or 6th time, I had already begun a journey of self-discovery and personal development. I was reading dozens of books a year, going to seminars, working with my own personal coaches. So one day, seemingly out of the blue, I had an aha moment, a turning point that changed everything. I woke up one morning and I thought, what if all of this resistance and rejection is actually a detour in the right direction. It was the moment that I realized that the resistance I was facing wasn't a roadblock, but rather a guiding force pushing me towards something better. It was a shift in mindset, a realization that rejection can and does lead to redirection. And as both my grandmothers always used to tell me, everything actually does happen for a reason. Now, the moment I changed that perspective, things started to change. I don't know if you know the author Wayne Dyer, but he has this great quote: when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's all about your perspective. How powerful is that? So if you're finding yourself frustrated at work, or stuck in a relationship that no longer serves you, or feeling a tug that you're meant for something more, listen up. We have a lot of things that will help you shift all of that in this masterclass. So here's number one. We are taught by school, by our families, by society, by life, that reality is what we see right in front of us. But that's not true. Reality is based on the lens that we use to look at things, our own perspective. So be mindful of your thoughts. Take a moment every day to clear your mind and allow yourself to see different perspectives. For example, if you go into work every single day saying, I hate my job, but where else can I go? You can change that by reframing what you say to yourself. Something like, my current job may not align with my passions and aspirations, but I'm open to exploring new opportunities that will bring me fulfillment and joy in my professional journey. Doesn't that just feel different? That's what changing your perspective does. Negative self-talk creates our limiting beliefs. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We think it's our conscious mind that makes all the decisions, but it's not. It's our subconscious mind that rules everything that we do. Think of the conscious mind as a flea and the subconscious mind as an elephant. The flea, our conscious mind, is sitting on the elephant, our subconscious mind. So if you want to go to the beach in your conscious mind, and the elephant starts going there, and suddenly you're going somewhere else, and you're like, why am I going somewhere else? That's your subconscious mind talking. It's kind of like when you're in auto drive and you end up in the wrong place. That's your subconscious mind kicking into gear. So when you feed your subconscious mind negative stories, your subconscious mind believes it and starts to look for proof to validate what you're telling it. And that is how our limiting beliefs are created. Take a moment. I'd love to hear some of your limiting beliefs or negative stories that you tell yourself over and over again. Take a moment to share. I'd love to hear some of them.
Did you want people to unmute or did it?
No, just in the chat. Sorry, in the chat. If you guys could just share in the chat some of the limiting beliefs that you may have. Negative belief. I don't have the skill set for that promotion I want. Oh, that's a huge one. I had that one. It's huge for sure. Thanks, Lisa. It's too hard to change my thoughts. Yep. That's a negative belief that keeps us in that cycle of thinking the same thing over and over again. So once we start to recognize our limiting beliefs, we start to give ourselves space to connect to our authentic self, which then connects to our purpose and fulfillment. As we confront our limiting beliefs, we often realize that there's a deeper longing within us, a need for purpose. I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have felt that tugging inside of you that you should be doing, feeling, being someone else or doing something else. But you don't know what that tugging is. You don't know what it is. You don't know where you're supposed to go. You just feel that tugging. Fear of making a mistake. Yeah, that's a huge one. That's a huge one. When we lack a clear sense of purpose, we may feel adrift, unsure of our direction, unfulfilled in our lives. That can lead to a sense of emptiness and a feeling that something important is missing. So let's take a few moments to go through an exercise together. Okay, take a moment to reflect on the challenges and limiting beliefs that have held you back from experiencing fulfillment. It could be something like self-doubt, fear of failure, fear of making a mistake, or the belief that you're not worthy of success, having imposter syndrome, like, what the heck am I doing here? That's what imposter syndrome is. Like somebody's going to find out I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not qualified enough to be here. Recognize that those challenges are merely stepping stones on a path to growth and transformation. Share in the chat if you have anything else that you want to share, because we're about to reframe them. Fear to make a mistake. I like that, honestly. Fear of failure, fear to make a mistake is such a huge one. Such a huge one. Doreen, growth is hard, hard, hard. Yep, that's a limiting belief. It's staying in our comfort zone, keeping it small. As the kids get older, questioning who I am and when they need me less. Oh, that's huge, right? As the kids are getting older, I'm experiencing that. My kids are older, for sure. That's something that we all go through. So now we're going to start reframing those limiting beliefs into what I call empowering beliefs, right? The things that lift you up. Start to challenge the notion that you're not good enough or deserving of success. Shift your perspective in one that believes in your capabilities and potential. I want you to realize that what we focus on grows. Remember that. So if you're always focusing on that limiting belief, I can't, I'm not good enough, where am I going next? I don't have a direction. That's what that grows. We're going to start shifting it to empowering beliefs, and we start focusing on things that empower us and make us believe things. I feel guilty if I'm more successful than my mother. Ooh, that's a big one. That's a huge one, Christine. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm going to teach you a method that's called Choose Again. It's a method that I got. I don't know if any of you know who Gabby Bernstein is, but one of her books, she had this Choose Again. And I use this with all of my clients, and it is so, so powerful. So think of a thought that you have, one of the limiting beliefs that you guys shared, or anything that you wrote down. What's that negative belief? Think of it, okay? The first thing to do is notice that thought when it comes into your head.
Yeah, shout out Huncho. Be riding with them AKs, side buzzing, boy, they hop out, busting rain. All my niggas.
Thank you. All right, well, that got us going. Okay, so now notice the negative thought, and instantly, so you notice it and instantly forgive the thought. By forgiving the thought, you are detaching yourself from the thought so that you're recognizing that it's not who you are, it's a thought that has come into your head. Because so often we think, this is the way I'm wired, I just think that way. Not true. So let's unlearn that. Recognize the thought, detach yourself from it, then thank the thought for revealing what you don't want, so that you can now concentrate on what you do want. Okay? Step 3, choose again. Choose a new sentence that serves you and feed your subconscious with possibilities. So here's an example. Negative self-talk. I'm not good enough to start my own business. I'll probably fail. Here's the positive reframe. I'm capable of starting my own business and achieving success. I have unique talents and skills that will contribute to my journey. With dedication, learning, and perseverance, I can and will create a thriving business. Here's another example. The negative self-talk that you want to recognize and detach yourself from. There are no men or no women out there. I'm destined to be alone. Here's how you can reframe it. I'm deserving of a loving and fulfilling relationship. I trust that the right person is out there for me, and I'm open to welcoming love into my life. Doesn't that just feel different right away? Like right away, we start, that icky feeling that we have when those negative thoughts come in, it starts to sort of dissipate automatically. And I also want you to consider this. All these negative things that come into your mind, into your brain, and you allow to take space and rent space into your head. Would you ever say that to a friend? Would you ever say the things that you allow yourself to say to yourself to a friend? I would bet no, because they would dump you. They would, of course you wouldn't. So always remember that when you start hearing those negative thoughts coming into your head, and then snap them. Remember, recognize, detach, and then go through the choose again method. Okay, the other thing we're going to work on right now is the power of visualization and affirmations to solidify your belief in the ability to overcome challenges. So right now, I'm going to invite you to all close your eyes and take a deep breath. I'm going to walk you through visualization. So close your eyes, those who just came in, and we're taking a deep breath. And we're going to start visualizing, stepping in to the extraordinary life that you desire, that is your birthright, and with all the joys and emotions that come with it. Picture a door. Walk towards that door. Picture your hand, your own hand, turning the knob and opening up that door. And then walk inside. And through that doorway, through there is the life that you have told yourself can only happen in dreams. What does it look like? What kind of house are you living in? Who is your partner? Are you hearing noise in the background? Are there children chatting? Are there friends laughing? Are there dogs barking? Are you listening to the waves coming in because your house is on a beach? Or are you smelling the forest? What does it look like? What are the smells? What are the sounds? What are you feeling right now? That is the life that is waiting for you. And that is the power of visualization. Just keep your eyes closed and think about this. Your mind does not know the difference between what is out there in the real world that you're experiencing and what you're thinking of is in your imagination. So it believes whatever you tell it. Okay, now open your eyes. Remember that visualizing what your life can be is super powerful. The next thing that you can do is affirmations. Now, I have to tell you, when I first started on my journey of personal development, I thought all of this was like woohoo. I'm like, I'm not closing my eyes and I'm not doing affirmations. Like affirmations are weird. But I started doing them and they started to work. And then I realized, okay, I need to rethink the way I look at this thing. So if it feels a little weird, that's okay. But try it out. I'm going to read you a whole bunch of affirmations, and I really encourage you to either do it right before you fall asleep or right when you wake up in the morning. Write them down or read them out loud over and over and over again, because it sets your mindset. It feeds your brain right before you're going to sleep or right as you're waking up. Okay. Affirmation number 1, write it down. I am capable, strong, and resilient. I can overcome any challenges that come my way. I am capable, strong, and resilient. I can overcome any challenges that come my way. Affirmation number 2. I'm deserving of success and abundance in all areas of my life. I am deserving of success and abundance in all areas of my life. Number 3. I trust my intuition and make decisions that align with my highest good. I trust my intuition and make decisions that align with my highest good. Number 4, I am surrounded by love, support, and positive energy. I'm surrounded by love, support, and positive energy. And number 5, I'm confident in my abilities and trust in my unique gifts. I am confident in my abilities and trust in my unique gifts. So if you repeat these affirmations daily with conviction and belief to shift your mindset, and you start to attract positive experiences into your life. Okay, next, taking inspired action and embracing growth. I'm going to say something that's going to make people feel uncomfortable. Failure is good. It's your friend and your teacher. If you're failing, it means you're trying and you're moving forward. Often we fear failure or we feel making mistakes, right? As some of you have said, and see it as a negative outcome. But I want to reframe this for you. Failure is simply a necessary part of the learning process. Embrace the idea that failure is a natural stepping stone towards success. When faced with failure, reflect on what went wrong, get yourself up, dust yourself off, learn from your mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. Every failure brings you one step closer to the right path. It's so crucial to shift your perspective of viewing challenges and setbacks or roadblocks and begin seeing them as valuable opportunities. Every single challenge that we encounter is either a lesson or a blessing. Every single one. It's a skill waiting to be learned. Embrace the mindset that challenges are stepping stones towards personal and professional development. I'll tell you a story. When my kids were small, we would sit around the dinner table at the end of the day. I would come home from work, come home from school, all of that stuff. And I would ask this question. I used to drive them crazy, but I know it shifted their mindset. I would say to them, what did you fail at today? So when I started telling my friends I was doing this, they were like, what? How can you say that to your kids? You know, and the mothers of my friends' kids were like calling me going, are you actually saying that to your kids? And I'm like, yes, because I want them to embrace failure. I want them to think of failure as a good thing. It just means they're trying something new, and you can't try something new and be good at it right away. You've got to fail, you've got to fall. And so that is one of the things, that was how I sort of taught my kids to shift into a growth mindset. We're going to talk about growth mindset in a minute, but that is really powerful. I'd love to hear, are you ready to try something new and to fail? What did you fail at today? Can anybody share in the chat? Or what did you fail at yesterday? What are you planning on failing at tomorrow? I always wake up and think, okay, what am I going to fail at today? What am I going to try? And if you saw me speak Spanish, you would realize that I'm failing at Spanish, but I'm learning over and over again. Does anybody want to share in the chat? Okay. Failing forward. Think about it. Failing to get a job. Yeah, trying new jobs, applying for stuff that you're scared to apply for. That's amazing. That's great because it's getting you out of your comfort zone. Okay, so the next step is the comfort zone, right? Is when we're failing forward, we're getting ourselves out of our comfort zone. Failing to, what is it? Let me read. Failing to eat less sugar. Yes. Getting to the end of my list. These are awesome. Thank you for sharing. So, what's our comfort zone? I'm sure a lot of you know a little bit about it. And if you don't, that it's where we keep ourselves safe, right? And growth happens always when you step way beyond what is familiar and what is habitual. When you take on projects that stretch your skills, seek out experiences that challenge your current capabilities, or open to trying something new. By expanding our boundaries, we cultivate resilience, adaptability, and confidence in our abilities. Taking action is essential to this process. Clarity doesn't come from overthinking. It doesn't come from analysis paralysis or waiting for the perfect moment. It comes from taking action and learning through experience, not just reading or thinking, experiencing it. Break down your challenges into smaller, manageable steps and consistently take action towards your goals. Persist in the face of obstacles as they are an indicator of growth and adaptability. So what are some of the things you can share in the chat? What are some of the things that you can do this week to get you stepping out of your comfort zone? Applying for the job, that you don't know if you can get it or not, that's out of your comfort zone. And that's when you start embracing failure, you start looking for opportunities. Okay, what can I do? And that helps you step out of that comfort zone. It's super, super, super powerful. Do a live video. That's definitely stepping out of your comfort zone for sure. For good. Yes, Rashi, thank you. Starting a new job. Absolutely. These are great, guys. Being willing to be really transparent with others about my feelings. That's tough. Yeah, transparent and vulnerable, because transparency means vulnerability. Those are great. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to cultivating a growth mindset. A growth mindset, I mentioned it before. It's all about embracing the belief that your abilities and your intelligence can be developed through dedication, hard work, and a willingness to learn. It's a powerful mindset that allows you to see challenges as opportunities for growth and to thrive in the face of setbacks, right? So how do we cultivate a growth mindset? Well, start with self-awareness. This is the stuff that we've been working on. Take a moment to reflect on how you're currently approaching challenges and setbacks. Are you quick to give up when you're faced with difficulties, or do you view them as what we've been talking about, opportunities for growth? So what is the difference between growth mindset and fixed mindset? Growth mindset is when you focus on the journey. When you, for example, one of the reasons that I was asking my kids, what did you fail at? Because I wanted to get into the growth mindset that it's not about being perfect, it's about the journey. The other thing I started telling my kids that freaked out my friends and the parents of my kids' friends was that I stopped caring about the mark that they got in exams or in report cards, because I didn't want them to think of report cards as the final destination. I wanted them to think of report cards as a snapshot about what they need to work on or what they're excelling at, and simply look at it as saying, okay, we're excelling at this, we're understanding this, but we need to learn a little bit more about this. So it's about the journey. So fixed mindset is I only do exams so that I can get an A. And the growth mindset is I just want to learn. And so as I learn, my marks will get better because I'm learning, right? That's the difference between fixed mindset, and it goes deeper than that, but that's essentially the difference. So once you've got a level of self-awareness, it's time to challenge your own fixed beliefs. Often we hold on to the belief that our abilities, our intelligence, and our talents are fixed traits. But here's the secret. They can actually be developed and expanded through effort and perseverance. Embrace the idea that you can learn new skills and improve upon your weaknesses and grow as a person. Now, I want to go back to reframing failure because it's so important. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your worth, which is why so many people are afraid to fail, see it as a valuable learning experience. When you embrace the growth mindset, it's continuous learning. There's always on a journey. You're never getting there. And it's all about seeking improvement and moving forward rather than dwelling on what did I do wrong or how could I have been so dumb? It's all about, okay, I'm learning, lesson or blessing. Another powerful tool in cultivating a growth mindset is embracing the power of yet. Just that little word. When faced with a challenge or setback, instead of saying, oh, I can't do this, you add the word yet at the end. For example, I can't speak this language yet. I have not learned this computer program yet. This simple shift in language opens up your mind to the possibility of growth and improvement, reminding you that you're on a journey of progress. So let's take a moment to try the yet method. Type in the chat something that you think you can never do and add yet at the end. I'm going to start with my own story. I'm training to run a marathon in September, and I have told myself the story almost for my whole life that I am not a runner. And so to challenge that story, I'm actually a gym. I love the gym. I'm a gym rat. I go to the gym all the time. But to challenge that story, I started saying, okay, I'm not a runner yet. And I started to shift and I started to run. And it's just by saying yet at the end of it, I gave myself the courage to actually get out there, even though my heart was like, what the heck are you doing? Get out there and start running. Adding yet at the end is life-changing. So share something in the chat that you'd add yet to at the end and see how it changes. I could never lose weight yet. Yeah. Or I can't lose weight yet, not never. I would say I can't lose weight yet. Anyone else? I haven't been able to buy a house yet. Right. That's great. Or I haven't bought a house yet. Not haven't been able to. I just haven't bought a house yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't gotten that job yet. These are great. Yes, exactly. Just that word shifts everything because you know that there's possibility. It's not a finite answer, right? You know that there's possibility. Okay. So during this masterclass, I can't do coaching sessions yet. Yes. Okay. That's the way it works, right? It's just, it changes it to a definite, to a finite answer, to an answer that is a journey. I'm not financially ahead of the game yet, but you're on the way. Welcome back, Christine. Good to have you back. If you've missed things, I'll be sending a recording, so don't worry about it. All right. So, what have we learned so far? We have explored actionable strategies to overcome self-limitations, cultivate a growth mindset, all designed to help you take bold action towards your goals. I'm 50 years old and I'm not an old woman yet. That's an empowering belief. That's not a limiting belief. That's good. You're never going to be an old woman because it's all in the mindset, right? So like I said, we're doing this masterclass. We've explored actionable strategies to overcome the self-limitations, cultivate a growth mindset, all designed to help you take bold action towards your goals. Now, I know that most of you have never been overlooked for a job of a morning show host, but I'm sure you've had challenges that have tested your resilience and belief in yourself. The transformative techniques and empowering mindsets that we've explored in this masterclass can be used as a tool in any challenge that you may be facing, whether it's overcoming self-doubt, applying for that job, lifting your hand up in a conference room where you don't feel confident talking in front of a whole bunch of people, stepping out of your comfort zone, finding your purpose, finding your fulfillment, going to talk to somebody, a colleague that you want to learn from or you want to mentor, all of that stuff. Stepping out of your comfort zone or finding your purpose, these tools are now in your toolbox to help you get there. I am living proof that fear can indeed be transformed into fulfillment. My journey as being stuck and not being hired for the job over and over and over again and realizing that I was meant for something different and something more. It's a reminder that every setback is an opportunity for growth, that every rejection is a stepping stone towards something greater. I want to tell you about one of my clients, Nikita. Nikita is a successful executive at Paramount in New York City. She joined my 6-month program because she knew that she was blocked by her own limiting beliefs and stories, even though she had achieved a certain level of success and earned more money than anyone ever had in her family. She felt stuck despite all of that. She felt stuck. She felt trapped. She knew she was meant for more. But up to the point where she found my program, she felt like she'd been pretending her way through life. And deep down, she felt like an imposter and she had a feeling in the pit of her stomach that was keeping her small, stopping her from stepping up to lead teams or stepping up for promotions that she actually watched other people get. After going through my 6-month program, her mindset, her perspective, and then her life, both personal and professional, changed in ways she was never expecting. She completed goals that she'd been procrastinating on and learned to face her fears. She gained trust and advancement at work and healed areas of her personal life that were weighing her down. By the end of our 6 months together, she stepped into a new position. She had become a regular speaker on a panel for professional women, and she increased her income and has started to work on building her own business that she had been keeping on the back burner because she had fears that someone like her couldn't possibly succeed as an entrepreneur. She was dealing with a major imposter syndrome because She had never graduated university, and somehow she had gotten this position when everybody else around her had some sort of degree. And she was always hiding, thinking, they're going to find me out. I'm going to lose my job. And so we got past all of that. In my 6-month program, Dare to Soar, I will take you through the same pillars that garnered Nikita's amazing transformation. My Dare to Soar program is divided into 4 different pillars. First pillar, a little bit of what we did in this masterclass, is the digging. You can't build a new mindset on top of an old one. It's kind of like a foundation of a house that's like this, and you want to build a house on top of that foundation. No, you're going to take the foundation off and rebuild it from the bottom up. We'll spend the time digging out your stories, uncovering your deep limiting beliefs. Those beliefs are lodged deep in your subconscious. Where are they coming from? How are they connected to the habits that you formed, that you can't seem to break? In this pillar of digging, we break those habits of the old you so that we can heal and transform into the version of the new you. In pillars 2 and 3, we'll tackle those limiting beliefs, the ones that we just started to, touch the surface of in this masterclass. Those nuggets that we uncover will point us to the stories that have been keeping you stuck. We'll address them head on and start rewriting those stories by releasing those beliefs and rewriting in more empowering ones. You can break free from the chains of self-doubt and step into your fullest potential. Start to really zero in on the narratives that have been keeping you small. Start reframing them in a little bit of the way that we did in the masterclass earlier on this evening, which will then allow you to start changing your perspective so that you can confidently pursue your goals and express your unique gifts. Once we've built that foundation, we're now ready for pillar 4. We've gained the clarity through this transformative process, and we'll start connecting to your authentic self. At this stage, we're ready to dive deeper into understanding your core values, your passions, your unique purpose for being on this earth. We strip away the layers of societal expectations, past conditioning, and any masks that you've been wearing, because so many of us walk around with masks, pretending to be other people. It's all about rediscovering and reconnecting with the true essence of who you are. Through various exercises and explorations, I will guide you to tap into your inner wisdom, your intuition, your higher self, and your authentic desires. We'll help you align with your actions and choices with your true self so that you can create a life that is deeply fulfilling, abundant, and aligned with your purpose and passion. So as you're contemplating whether my Dare to Soar program is the right fit for you, and considering the time and the financial investment it requires, because it is a 6-month program, I want you to take a moment to visualize. Think of the visualization exercise that we used earlier. Visualize what your life could look like and feel like 6 months from now. Imagine waking up with a newfound sense of confidence, clarity, and purpose. Envision yourself stepping into each day with a deep knowing of who you are, what you want to create with the world. Picture that freedom that comes from releasing those limiting beliefs and stepping beyond your comfort zone. Feel the joy, the fulfillment of aligning your actions and choices with your truest desires. See yourself achieving those goals that once seemed out of reach and creating a life that reflects your authentic self. Now think about the cost of not embarking on this journey. What will it feel like if you continue to stay stuck, held back by self-doubt and uncertainty? Imagine waking up in the same place you're in now with the same frustrations and longing for something more. I want you to know that each and every single one of you has the power within you to make the change and to soar in your life beyond anything you could have imagined. My Dare to Soar program is designed to guide you and support you every single step of the way, helping you to overcome obstacles and achieve transformation. It's an investment in yourself and your future. Remember, time will pass regardless of whether you choose to take action or not. 6 months from now, you can either be in the same place of uncertainty or standing tall in your power. If you'd like to learn more about my 6-month Dare to Soar program, I've opened up 5 sessions for my Unleash Your Power one-on-one call with me. A quick laser coaching call to give you some confidence and mindset boosting tips and see if we're a fit to work together. I invite you to click on the link below that you're going to see. Oh, just popped up. Click on that link below in the chat to sign up. I've been able to open up 5 sessions, so grab them quickly because they go really fast. And while you're signing up for that, I would love to open it up to questions. You guys can unmute yourselves. You can ask questions in the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Would anybody like to share anything?
You can see that somebody, I think it was Yinghua, loving and embracing that yet. So
Yes.
empowering and positive.
Oh, amazing. It really is so powerful. It changes everything. Anybody have any questions? Any comments? If you don't feel comfortable talking, you can put it in the chat.
What's that? Oh, right here. Thank you. What do you say about your wrist?
I think somebody's unmuted.
Oh.
What are some tips that we can use to find, this is Lena. What are some tips that we can use to find that connection with ourselves and reconnect with our essence? That's a great question. And the answer is simply that all, the tools that we learned during this masterclass is really, you've got to sort of unpack the stuff, the negative stories and the stuff that is keeping you disconnected with all of that, so that you can clear the space to connect with your true self. Your true self is always trying to come out. But when we're packing stories upon stories upon stories, it gets muffled. So our job is to unmuffle everything and to clear the way to hear that voice and your true essence. That's, it's one step at a time. I always say the way I work with my clients is that change you don't go in the gym on Tuesday and you have a 6-pack on Saturday. It would be great, but it doesn't work that way, right? It's really about shifting 1% a day. It's the little things that you do 1% a day that starts to create the shifts. So how do you get connected to your true essence? How do you find that connection? Doing little things that create little shifts, one little bit at a time. And, what we do in this, we're doing in this masterclass is that, the top level of what you can do. But the more you dig deeper, the more you can start clearing that way. And that's why I really work with my clients on a 6-month program, because we've got to dig. We've got to let that space out. We have spent our life really piling stuff one on top of another. So you got to make that space for that true essence to come out. And that's, I hope that answers your question. If you have a follow-up question, either unmute yourself or put it in the chat. I have taken a lot from this evening. I don't keep my mindset clear enough, positive enough yet. Julia, thank you. Thank you. So great. I love that you put yet on there. That's amazing. You're so welcome. Thank you for joining us. And remember to click on the link if you want to have a one-on-one coaching session with me. It's a quick laser coaching. There's the link. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Christine, you look like you have a question. I think you have a question. Thank you for your answer. That was great. You're so welcome, Lena. Christine. I'm calling.
I honestly can't think of a question, but I'm just absorbing all of this like a sponge. I actually had the last day or so, it's been really, really hard. And when you're talking about how we have layers and layers of stuff that we just keep piling one on top of the other. And it's funny, like I've been realizing that in my own life right now. And like yesterday, I was very, very emotional, and I realized that I still have a lot of triggers. So it is a really slow process because, you know, when you get hurt, that happens over a long period of time. So the unhurting, like oftentimes is very laborious to go through, and it's very painful, but
Yeah.
it's so worth it.
Yeah.
You know, you do see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I am going through a period of growth right now emotionally. And so I'm kind of glad I joined this session tonight. Yeah.
I'm so thrilled. And you know, remind yourself also that like change is hard, you know, and it's hard at the beginning. It's super messy in the middle. And it sounds like you're in the messy part, you know, super,
Yeah.
super messy in the middle. And then it's glorious at the end. But you got to go through it, as painful as it is. And when you're going
Yeah.
through that, remind yourself, you know, I'm going through this. It's like it's part of my process. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, as painful as this is, and grab onto the lessons. But also, I want to remind you that when things are tough, start looking at things and say, you know, change your perspective a little bit and say, okay, I'm going through a rough time. That doesn't mean that every day is going to be rough. And so let me focus on what I'm grateful for today, or let me focus on a conversation that I had that made me smile. You know, reshift your focus a little bit, because it
Yeah.
starts to train your brain to focus on the things that are going well. Because there's always things that are going well. Do you ever notice that at the end of the day, this is like instinct that we do, right? At the end of the day, if 99% of your day can go amazing, but if one bad thing goes wrong, we go home and what do we talk about? We talk about
That's
the one bad thing that went wrong,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because we are so trained to just focus on what's not going well, what's not going right. And so just a little mindset hack, you know, one go think when you're feeling like that, think, okay, there's things today that I'm grateful for that went right. Let me just think about them. Just refocus it. And
Yeah.
then you're gonna see, doesn't mean that it's not, you know, it doesn't mean the change isn't hard. It just means that every single day we can choose to focus on also things that went well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Christine.
Yeah, no worries.
So glad you're here.
Thank you.
Lena, thank you. Okay, we already read that. Does anyone else have any questions? My Calendly is blown off. I've got a whole bunch of people already. Oh, thank you guys for signing up. So many people are already signing up. So make sure to click on that link if you want to have a further call with me. Anything else before we wrap it up? It's been such a pleasure chatting with you guys. Thank you all so much for being here.
Oops.
Thanks, Doreen. I have a lot of them. I'm a natural. How about one more story? What kind of story? I'll tell one more story to wrap it up. People love my stories.
Yeah, I love the idea that you're talking about. I know you gave the client story, but maybe a moment when you had that mess, but then you found yourself like maybe at the latter part of the mess into,
Yeah. So, you know, somebody mentioned this earlier, being, being transparent with people and working on being transparent with people. My biggest thing is vulnerability, because I have a great story about vulnerability. So because I've been trained as a journalist, I was trained, like you're trained to like grab information, go into situations, and gather information and just block everything and then get back and write the story and go on air, right? And so I covered some hard stories. I covered murders, I covered shootings, I covered deaths of children. You know, I covered some hard stories. And because of that, I think I built, even though I grew up in a home where we shared stuff, I had built this block to protect myself. You know, it's like a vulnerability block. And I realized as I was working on myself and going through all these development and working with coaches and going to seminars, I realized that I had put up a block with everyone that And if I let myself be vulnerable, I would collapse. And I was so afraid of collapsing that I stopped letting things in. And I quickly realized that it was hurting me, not helping me, because we're trained to believe that vulnerability is a weakness, but it's the opposite. Vulnerability is strength. And so I had this mask on of, I'm good, everything's fine, I should get this thing going. I don't have any, I'm not even being impacted by this, because I also had to go home and raise little children and, be a wife and be a friend and be a daughter and be a sister. And so I slowly, although it was hard, started to take that mask off and allow myself to be vulnerable. And the first time was the scariest thing on the planet. But then I started realizing, wow, when you're vulnerable, people look at you differently. They speak to you differently. They open up differently. And that was it. Taking that mask off. I don't know what the mask was. I mean, I guess the mask was of, pretending everything's okay. It was like kind of an imposter syndrome that I'm not, I don't, this stuff doesn't affect me. I'm fine. Right. And actually allowing myself to be vulnerable in front of people changed everything. And I became stronger because of it.
Yay.
And probably changed everything for them too.
Yeah, it changed everything
Because,
for the people I was talking to, of course,
yeah,
because the minute you're
you're an
vulnerable with
example.
people, right? People are like, oh, okay, we're
And they're
sharing
looking
stuff,
at you
and
going,
like,
hey, she didn't die, so I could do it too.
right. And also for me, it was like, I had to have an on-air persona. So you have to be perfect. You have to do this and you have to look a certain way and you got to, and so you carry that over. And so the moment I started showing my vulnerability and allowing myself to show my feelings, it wasn't that I wasn't feeling, it was just that I wasn't showing it. People start to show their feelings back and conversations started to shift, and I had deeper conversations with friends, and I could talk to my kids in a different way, and just even colleagues, because we're all walking around the newsroom like getting the story, all of that started to shift, and it was super powerful.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, your
Wow.
words have given me a lot of confidence. Oh, thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. Amazing. Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap it up? I know acceptability is the first step in growth. Yes. Accepting yourself 100% and finding the strength from that. Yes. Amazing. All right, guys. See, now I'm trained to have timing right. I'm trained for television. I'm trained to have a producer in my ear saying, all right, wrap it up. All right, top of the hour, wrap it up, wrap it up. So we're right on time. Love your story. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. I will be sending out a connection to, I think I have a few places left, to the Calendly if you didn't get it here. If you'd like to, yeah, just a few places left. I think there's only one place left. But I'll send out the link as well. And there's the link again. Thank you so much. Lovely to talk to all of you. I hope you're following me on Eventbrite as well, because I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. I really enjoy doing it. I really enjoyed connecting with all of you. You're so welcome, Christine. And, you have my email. I will be sending you messages as well, so you can connect with me and feel free to reach out. I'm always here. And it was really an honor and a pleasure to spend this hour together. Thank you again for taking the time for yourselves, for really putting yourselves first, because it's especially as women, we don't do that enough. We don't put ourselves first. And so congratulations to all of you for doing that. You're very welcome, all of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you next time. And those of you who I'm connecting with on the calls in the next few days, I really look forward to connecting with you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
You, bye.